Listen, I know what you've been thinking. Girl, I don't have time to plan my life every single day. I can barely get out the door on time as it is. And I hear you. I hear you. But here's the tea. If you don't take a few minutes to set your day up, your day is going to set itself up for you. And it's usually not cute. So that's why I'm completely obsessed with the 5-minute planning routine. It's quick, it's simple, and it actually works. This little daily check-in, baby, has saved me from so many OMG I forgot moments, unnecessary stress, and straight up chaos. And the best part? It only takes literally 5 minutes. You spend more time than that scrolling on TikTok in the morning. Let's be so for real. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Marquita from At Home with Kita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down for you exactly how this routine works and how you can start doing it today. So this video is right on time, y'all, because I get so many questions, so many DMs about certain things that you guys want me to address on this channel, and this was one of them. A lot of you feel like I'm doing the most in terms of my planning and you want to do less. And so you feel like you want to plan, you feel like you need to plan, but you just don't have the time to sit down on a Sunday and plan out your whole entire day the way that you feel like I do it or the way that you have seen on the internet. Okay, you want to do what can work for you. You want something sustainable. You want something easy for you. And I got you as always. So that's what we're covering in today's video. I'm going to show you how you can plan your day out, how easy it is to take 5 minutes out of your day to get your life together and make sure that you are able to track all the things that you need to do on a daily basis. Because just because you feel like you can't or you don't want to plan in the same way that you've seen some on the internet because it takes too long or whatever your reasoning is, does not mean that you should not be planning. You can still plan, but you can do it in a more simple, more dumbed down, more, and I hate saying that word, but you can do it in a way that works for you that takes less time and less effort, okay? So I'm gonna show you just that in today's video. We're gonna set a timer and we're gonna go at it, and I'm gonna show you how quick and simple it is to still get all of your to-do list done, your weekly spread and all of that done in 5 minutes. So I'm really super pumped up and excited about this video because it's going to test me. I'm going to show you a different way than I plan. So this isn't a system that I'm going to be implementing because I just have a system and I love the way it's working for me. But I just want to show you that you can still plan and you don't have to take all the time that you see others taking. So I'm hoping that in this video it's not more than 5 minutes, but it might be more than 5 minutes only because I'm explaining to you the process of everything. But the entire routine should take no more than 5 minutes. So let's jump right on into the first step in the process. And this is to do a brain dump. Before you try to be all organized and aesthetic with your planner, you got to get that mental clutter out. Okay, now typically what that looks like for me, because I love a good brain dump session, because sometimes I'm just talking, I got a lot going on up here, okay? And I need to be able to get that out of my head, but I also want to keep it somewhere in my planner to where I can constantly chip away at it. Because sometimes doing a brain dump and then just saying, hey, I'm gonna do all of this in one day is just not realistic. You need to be able to just write down every single thing floating around in your head, the text you need to send, the bill you need to pay, the random reminder to buy more milk. All of it. You need to be able to get that out. So I use an inbox system. So everything from my brain comes into the inbox system, and then slowly I'm able to kind of chip away at things as my schedule permits. And so I'm constantly offloading a lot of this into my planner onto my regular spread, so that way I can make sure that I'm accomplishing that. So this is a part of my planner routine in terms of checking this to make sure that I'm grabbing a couple of things off of it. There's no use of just putting things in an inbox that you're never going to complete. So you want to make sure, yes, you're offloading it onto this sort of system, but you're also checking in with this system to make sure that you're accomplishing these things that you put in the inbox. And don't worry about neatness or anything. That's why I love this sort of insert. I just kind of dump it out, but you can totally just use a notebook, a sheet of paper, a sticky note, whatever you have on hand. This is literally just mental spring cleaning, if you will. Okay, so think of it like emptying your junk drawer before you start putting things in their proper place. you got to get the junk out, okay? And so I just come here and I just dump all of the tasks. I also have a spot here for due date, a spot for category. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to transition it out of here onto my either work planner or my home planner. And I try to be realistic with what I'm pulling, so that way I can make sure that I can actually accomplish these things. There's no sense, again, for taking it off of here, writing it in your planner, just for it to just sit in your planner spread and then end up back in your inbox. Okay, so make sure that you take some time and you just dump literally every single thing out of your head. We also do have brain dump inserts in our shop, and that's what this cover page is for. It says, get it out of my head and onto paper. And these are some prompts that you can ask yourself in terms of brain dumping, so that way you can make sure that you are able to fill it in a brain dump page. Now, these aren't the inserts that come with it. The brain dump inserts come with a whole set of inserts that help you to kind of organize an effective brain dump. I do have a video here on my channel that helps with that. I may do an updated video sometime in the future. I like to update and refresh videos, especially because sometimes I'll change the insert. It looks a little bit different and I need to do an updated video. And so I probably will do that, just because that video was so long ago. It's time to give you a new look. All right. So I just kept this here because I love it. And I'm low-key thinking about making this into a vellum, but I love prompts because they just really help you to be able to see, hey, how do I do a brain dump? You know, because sometimes you just sit here with a blank sheet of paper, like, what do I write on it? So this gives you some ideas. So you should ask yourself questions like, what are your goals? All of that should be in your brain dump. And when you ask yourself these questions, it helps to trigger something within you, so you can say, oh yeah, I do got goals. Let me get those goals out of my head, because why are they staying in my head when the chances of me being able to accomplish them is going to be slim to none unless I get them onto some sort of paper or notebook. All right. Also, what are the things that are making life stressful? Are there any tasks that you're trying to avoid? Also, what does your face schedule look like? Those are some great questions, right? And there's a ton of other questions here that really just help you to really think about what you got going on that needs to be accomplished. Okay, so what are you feeling in this moment? That's a great question to ask yourself. What do you want to be, or where do you want to be a year from now? What's your next vacation destination? Is there something you got going on you need to plan for that? Do you have any regrets? What family outings do you want to schedule? So this is a great page. Again, this is from our brain dump insert. I'll be sure to link it below for you, so that way you have it. And you can use this as a reference to be able to have a brain dump session. And you should be doing this every single week. And if you think of something that you need to add to this, you should go ahead and add it. So if that's daily, then or in the moment, just go ahead and add it here, so that way you have it in your inbox or on your brain dump system or in your notebook. So that way, again, it's on paper and it's out of your head. So that's the first step in the process, clearing that junk drawer, so that way you can start to put things in their proper place. All right, so let's move on to step 2. And that is to create a must-do list. So now that everything is out of your head, it's time to get real. Not everything you wrote down deserves your space on today's plate. Hello. You can't do all of this in one day. So again, like I said earlier, you're going to chip away at things. Now this inbox is great because I'm able to write my tasks in, the due date for that, the category, and then there's a little section here for me to be able to put a symbol, which is indicated here. If it's not completed, complete it. If I want to cancel it or if I want to delegate it. Sometimes you got to delegate. Okay, so really look at this to see if it's something that you can accomplish, if you can give it or hand it off to somebody else. And then we need to figure out what's our must-do list for today. And if you're planning for the week, what's my must-do list for the week? And you want to make sure that you're realistic in this, because y'all be doing too much and y'all be taking 10 things that you know you're not going to be able to accomplish. Things should be done at your own pace. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Just because you see so-and-so doing a bunch of different things and you think that you can do it, you may not be able to do it. Baby step that thing, okay? So just pick a few things that you feel like you can accomplish on that day, so that way you can make sure, again, that you're being realistic and what you can actually accomplish, and the chances of you accomplish it are going to be greater. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to circle or highlight the top 3 non-negotiables. These are non-negotiables, okay? So they're the things that if you don't get them done today, the day is going to give wasted, okay? And here's a tip. Don't overpack the list. Like I just said, you're not a robot. So picking 3 things is going to keep you realistic and focused, so that way you actually win the day instead of feeling like a failure because you didn't check off 47 things, okay? So based off of this list here, you're going to pick a few things that you can realistically do. Now, it doesn't have to be 3, it can be however many, or whatever works for you. You could take a highlighter and just kind of pin it there, so that way you have an indication of whatever those 3 or 4 or 5 things is. I wouldn't pick any more than that. So just grab a highlighter. These are just sticky notes, and just kind of put it there so that way you can see, these are the items that you want to make sure that you accomplish today. Because again, if I don't do these things, these are just the most important things that you need to do. Okay, so for me, for this step in the process, I take those items after I do my brain dump and I come here to my focus section. That's why, y'all, I love this layout so much, because it gives you everything. It's our weekly all-in-one layout, so you're able to literally track every single thing that you need to track. So I do that with the exception of any work tasks, because I have a whole different section for that. But I come here and I write those 3 things in here that are my non-negotiable things, so that way I can make sure that I'm focused on that for the week. And y'all, if I'm honest, sometimes it doesn't involve these things that I chose here, the 3 to 5 things, but I do want to do those things. They are must do during the week, but maybe they're not necessarily my top 3 for the week, if that makes sense. But they are my top 3 or top 3 to 5 that I'm pulling from this list to add to my planner to make sure that I am doing those things. But for the purpose of explaining to you guys how to do a 5-minute planning session, you are going to take those 3 to 5 things and you're going to use that as the basis for your spread, in terms of those are the most important things you have to get done during the week. I'm kind of already in the thick of things in terms of knowing how I plan. And so that's not always my system and process, but I want to give you that system and process, especially if you're a newbie, to be able to figure out how to set a realistic planner routine for yourself. And so you definitely want to grab some things off of here or highlight things off of your list to indicate that those are must-do items. And then, of course, you want to check them off of the list once you get them done. But then remember that you are taking those things and you are transferring them onto a planner spread. Now, if you plan on just using this inbox system as your planner, that's fine too, or a notebook as your planner system, that's completely fine. But if you want to go all in, baby, and you want to have some sort of planner system or spread in your life, and it looks like this, of course, to start out, is going to eventually get to this point. But starting out, you're grabbing those items and you're sprinkling them throughout your week, or you're putting them in your focus section, so that way you have a foundation of the most important things that need to get accomplished during the week. Okay, so you want to make sure that you highlight or circle your top 3. I say 3, but you can do 3 to 5. And so that way you can make sure that you do those things and you don't feel like your day or your week is wasted. Okay, so that's step 2 in the process, your must-do list after you do your brain dump session. All right, step 3 in the process is your time check and your blocks. And this is where you make sure that your to-do list actually fits into your life, because this means nothing if you can't accomplish it. Okay, so you have your 3 to 5 things that you want to make sure that you accomplish during the week, but let's see how it fits in my day. Okay, so you want to look at your schedule for the day. Do you have any meetings? Do you have any appointments? Do you have any errands? All of that stuff is going to go on your planner spread, of course. Okay, so that it probably is outside of your brain dump. Maybe you didn't write appointments, meetings, and errands on your brain dump list. Maybe you did. Okay, I'm just saying that you want to actually think about how your day is going to look for you. Okay, now I do recommend starting out maybe using some sort of time block planner or hourly planner, just so you can kind of really realistic see how your day is going to look by the hour. Now for me, I don't do that. I just make sure I get everything accomplished in that day, so I don't necessarily need times on my day. But if you do, of course, that's an option for you as well. So in this particular step, we are speaking like you are using some sort of time blocking layout. Okay, so you want to assign quick time blocks to your must-do tasks. So we talked about those. Again, I do write those in my focus section. Unless there is a time deadline to it, you can do the same thing. If there is a time deadline to it, you want to fill it in here. So let's say on Monday you needed to do some sort of presentation, and that presentation was from 9 to 10 a.m. Then you would just take something to indicate that. Okay, so I just have a little quick sticky note here, and I'm going to drop it down because it's not just going to be at 9 a.m. It's going to be from 9 to, let's say, 10. Okay, so I would write 9 to 10 a.m. and then I would write presentation. Okay, so that way I know from that time to that time, that is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so remember, we're filling in those things that you pulled from your inbox and we're assigning them a time block on your planner. Okay, and let's say maybe on Tuesday you have a call with a vendor. I'm just randomly saying stuff. And that call is from 11 to 12. So you kind of see how that works? So 11 to 12, you have a call with a vendor. Boom. Okay? So can you see how this could be minimal time involvement? Because all you're literally doing is just following the steps in the process. You're going to pull those things, you're going to put them on your schedule. Okay? And you're going to fill it in with all the things, because there's also things that maybe you didn't write in the brain dump, you know, standard things that you do every single week. Like for me, I have spiritual activities, I have kids activities. The brain dump should involve everything, but you know those things that you need to do on a weekly basis that may not have been written in the brain dump, and that's fine. But you want to overload that brain dump page with everything that you can think of. Okay, and then let's say maybe on Wednesday you need to pay a bill. Okay, let's see how I would indicate that. So same sort of concept. Let's say you want to pay that bill at a specific time. Now, sometimes for me, things like paying bills aren't going to involve a time unless it does. And you only know that for you. A lot of times paying bills just involve paying that bill. But maybe you have a specific time that you want to pay the bill. Okay, so let's just say 1 p.m. to 1:15, because it shouldn't take that long to pay a bill. You say pay bill. Okay? So easy peasy system. All I'm literally doing is looking at that brain dump that I wrote out, and I'm pulling those items, the top 3 to 5, and I'm putting it on my schedule. Now, if you can do more than that, by all means, grab as many tasks as you need. But remember, the brain dump is really just kind of getting things out of your head that's kind of been stuck there and things that you know you need to do. Again, it doesn't always involve scheduling and things that you do on a weekly basis with your family and your household. Okay, so you're going to fill that in with everything else. Okay, so this is going to keep you from writing down a fantasy list and then wondering why you're overwhelmed. Okay, so do that time check and fill them in on the block so that way you can make sure that it actually fits into your life. Step 4, you're going to prep your energy. Now let's get intentional, baby. You're going to ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to have? Do you need focus? If so, pick one thing you'll do to minimize distractions. Do you need calm? If so, decide on a mini self-care move, whether that's deep breaths, music, or a walk. Or do you need hype? If so, line up that playlist that makes you feel like you're in your main character era. This is about setting the vibe before the day hijacks it. And step 5, do a quick reset. This is the last step in the process, and honestly, my favorite. Give yourself a reset. So tidy your desk or space, fill up your water bottle, open the tabs or apps you'll actually need, and close the ones that are distractions. Baby, that's a real one. And say a quick prayer or affirmation. Today I'm focused, calm, and in control. Now you're not just planning, you're positioning yourself to actually succeed. Okay, so again, let's just break things down again, and let me just go over with you real quick, just as a way of recap all the things that we talked about. So first step in the process, you want to make sure you do your brain dump. So this is a step in the process that's super duper important, and this just helps you to get everything out of your head and onto paper, so that way you can start to chip away at these things and you can get rid of that mental clutter. I know you got a lot going on. You need to get it out of your head and just write it down. Okay, then step 2 in the process is that you need to figure out what off of all of this stuff is your must do. What are your top 3 non-negotiables? Okay, you want to take those items and then you want to transfer them onto your planner. All right, so figure out what's most important, then go to whatever the planner spread is for you, or a notebook, or whatever, however that looks for you, and you want to put them in the schedule. Okay, set times for all of these things so that way you can make sure that you get them done. So you need to really analyze and assess what your schedule should look like for that day. What do you have going on? Do you have meetings, appointments? Do you have any errands? Then you want to fill them into your blocks, all right? After you fill them into your blocks, you want to prep your energy, baby. You want to make sure that you ask yourself, what kind of day do you want to have, okay? And assess all the stuff that you have going on to see what kind of day can you realistically have, okay? Usually for me, it's a hype day. Sis need to get hype. I want to turn up. I want to put my playlist on. I want to start to attack all the things that I need to do. So figure out which of those 3 things I mentioned is going to be your energy. Pick one and focus on that. Then you want to make sure you reset. So this is a great step in the process to just kind of give yourself a reset, start fresh. So make sure you do all of those things so that way you clear your physical clutter and also your mental clutter as well. Because having a messy desk and all of those different things that kind of help you to hinder you from really getting started and getting going is a real thing, okay? Because remember, you're not just planning, you're positioning yourself to actually succeed. And so you want to make sure that you do a reset as well. That's going to help you in this whole process. And that should be a part of your 5-minute routine. And so planning this way is the way that I actually started out planning. And then I kind of adopted my own system based on my needs and all the various things that I need to accomplish for the various parts of my life. And that's what's going to happen with you too. You're going to start out very basic and simple. And maybe that's a long-term solution for you as well. Maybe you don't want to spend any more than 5 to 10 minutes planning your day out. That's a very realistic way to plan. But for me, I just feel like I have so much going on that it takes me a little bit more than 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes is on the lower end. For me, I feel like for anybody to sit down and plan for 5 minutes can be a challenge. But if you don't have that much going on in your life and you're just kind of getting started into planning and you don't want to do all the things, you don't use stickers and none of that stuff appeals or applies to you, then the 5-minute planner routine is perfect for you. So here's why this works. All right, here's the thing. Most people think productivity means long, complicated systems, but the 5-minute planning routine is proof that small, consistent action beats long, inconsistent ones every time. It stops you from reacting all day and puts you in control. It clears your mental clutter so you're not spiraling. And it makes your to-do list realistic instead of delusional. It's giving, I run my day doesn't run me. Okay, so if you're tired of ending every single night saying, I didn't get anything done, this routine is your way out. You don't need a 2-hour morning routine or some Pinterest perfect planner spread to get your life together. All you need is 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes to brain dump. Pick your top 3, block some time, set your vibe, and reset your space. Okay? Do that on repeat, and I promise you, life will feel lighter, calmer, and way more put together. So here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, give yourself just 5 minutes to try this, no excuses, and then come back and tell me if your day didn't hit different. Because sis, once you feel how good it is to start your day with clarity, you'll never go back. Period. All right, y'all. So that's it for this video. I hope that you can see that 5 minutes is all you need to get your life together and have a daily plan to make sure that you stick to all your goals and to-do lists and action items that you need to accomplish your life, okay? So I hope that you enjoyed this video, so much so that you'll give me a like, thumbs it up, baby, okay? That's how I know that you want me to continue doing this sort of content. I hope that if you're new to my channel, you'll consider subscribing. And as always, come on back, join me for another video, in which case I'll see you then.